At Casement Park in Belfast, the Ulster final for the Liam Harney Cup was contested by the old rivals Antrim and Down. Down were looking good early on in the game with the sides level at 2 points each. This Paul Coulter point, followed by an Old Sands goal, gave Down a 4-point lead. Marty Mallon. Mallon inside now to Conor Arthurs. Goes low. Coulter's there. And the keeper manages to fall on it. Is it in? Yes! It's in the net. Old Sands. But that was to be the closest they were to get to Antrim. Antrim came back into the game very much with some excellent scores. Now Jim Connolly on the break. Can't hit it left side because there was a chance that he could, but he hits it right side, and that's equally good. It's Jennings, Paul. Oh, a lovely point. Good run, ball glued to stick, good shot, good point. That's a terrific score by Aidan McCluskey. At half-time, there was 2 points between them. Antrim 10 points, Down 1 goal and 5. In the second half, Antrim continued the good scoring to increase their lead, and with 10 minutes left in the game, a fine goal by Gregory O'Kane made 10 points the difference. Now it's Gregory O'Kane. Goal! It was all over then, bar the shouting, although Down did get the last 4 scores of the game, including a good goal by Dermot O'Prey. Final score, Antrim 1 goal 20, that's 23 points. Down 2 goals and 12, that's a total of 18. And so to the semi-final lineup for the All-Ireland Championship. Limerick versus Antrim and Galway against the Leinster champions, Wexford. To win the Leinster final, of course, after what, a gap of 19 years. Many people said maybe that's it, Wexford would be satisfied.
Yeah, I think when we went back to Wexford actually, and we went to Gorey, we had a magnificent crowd in Gorey, like it was unbelievable, like, you know, and everyone was chanting and singing and shouting, and they were so overjoyed about it, like, you know, and we were delighted as well, of course, naturally, because we had won it first time in 19 years, but I think it was the Wednesday night after again, we sat down and we had a meeting, the players' meeting, and we decided, this is great, lads, but we can go further.
How did you get them to put their feet back on the ground again and say, look, we've got to play Galway now?
Right, well, what we did was the first night back, we gave them 3 days off or whatever, and said, right, on the Wednesday night we brought them out to the beach in Corratlow, gave them a run, went for a swim, and did all sorts of nice casual things. So on the Thursday night we brought them back for training in Wexford Park and said, right, we've enough done. Have you your bellyfuls? We have enough. So we kind of sat down and contemplated that and discussed it, and fellas started to come to realise, no, we haven't enough. So we said, right, well then we're going to set limits on what we want to achieve. Are we going to go for this thing? Do we really want to go for it? So I said, I want to pose a question to the lot of you, and I want you to write down the answer. How many more All-Ireland semi-finals are you likely to play in? And how many more All-Ireland semi-finals are you guaranteed to play in? So the answer was 1. So that kind of helped to focus the mind, and this might be our only one. So we went on and we played Galway. And we now rode in out of the sunset, having cast off a few psychological shackles off our backs. And also, we now had a new agenda, because Galway were one of the only teams that had beaten us this year.
Galway manager Matty Murphy had suggested that his team were the best in the country, and there were many who would have agreed with him.
Yes, I mean, it was a statement that Matty Murphy was using sort of all that week, whether it was to frighten us or what, I don't know. I mean, but again, I mean, we weren't worried sort of what anybody else was doing. Like, we were just trying to keep our minds on our own game and focus on our own game plan, and just the Wexford team. Like, and I mean, it was a very tough, physical, dogged match. It was, nobody was getting the upper hand in the game, and I mean, it wasn't over until the last couple of minutes.
50-50 ball here. Rob Guiney going into challenge. Joe Rabbit back there as well. Guiney turning on his right hand side towards Larry O'Gorman. Rory McCarthy in there as well to challenge Brendan Keogh. Comes to Micheál Donoghue, tidy hurler. Diagonally across towards Kevin Broderick. Sean Flood back there, tenaciously taking it up, beating 2 men to it. Son of Tim from some great Wexford teams in the 1950s. Nice ball down towards Martin Storey. trotted on there by Eamon Scallon. Comes towards Larry Murphy. Here's a chance, and Larry drills it over the bar. And Wexford are in front again. The club old man's first point. He makes it 3 points to 2. Down through the centre it comes. Well judged. Larry O'Gorman out there as far as Adrian Fenlon. Brian Feeney. Larry O'Gorman trying to nip in there and dispossess the Galway man. Comes instead to Tom Dempsey from a huge distance out. From 55 metres out. Great point indeed by Tom Dempsey from Buffer's Alley. And Wexford lead by 4 points to 2. So Galway's free. Playing into the wind in the first half. Towards Cathal Moore, bounces away off the stick of Liam Dunn to Rory McCarthy. Low along inside towards Tom Dempsey. Getting there ahead of Jerry McInerney. Good play inside towards Eamon Scallon. Again, some fine play here by Tom Hellebert. Very steady in a short corner back play. Out it comes only as far as Larry O'Gorman. The hand pass outside to Martin Storey. 2 seasoned campaigners linking up together, and Storey puts it over the bar. His second point. And all of that is a result of a very good pass from Larry O'Gorman, and it's 5 points to 2 in Wexford's favour. Cathal Moore trying to advance inside Liam Dunn. He's got a few yards now in which to be creative here. And it's buried by Joe Cooney. Give him half a chance and he'll destroy defences. Sides are level, 1-3 to 6 points. "21 minutes were gone when that reached the back of the net." Some very forceful play here.
Yes, you can see here as Colmore picks up the ball, comes inside, right? Maybe has a look to take his point and sees his no man side. Went for goal. Wasn't intended as a pass, I don't think, and the ball scrummed off his hurley across the square to Joe Cooney, and he buried it.
Adrian Fenlon fails to cut it out. Michael Coleman to apply some pressure in there. Wexford defence down a man. Colm Keogh unfairly stopped by Joe Rabbit. So it'll be a free to the Slaney siders. Free to be taken by Liam Dunn. They still have not brought on George O'Connor. Here they come into the attack. Oh, here's a chance! It's a great goal by Rory McCarthy! Rory McCarthy! A wonderful goal. So 6 minutes after Joe Cooney got Galway's goal, there's the reply by the 14 men. Down by virtue of the injury to John O'Connor, without the sub having been brought on just yet.
Yes, sir, we can see the goal here. Great score by Rory McCarthy.
Liam Dunn and Adrian Fenlon taking it again. Oh, nice pick up by McCarthy. He completely sends his man the wrong way. That's a terrific piece of skill. So a goal and a point. Last couple of scores for Wexford scored by the St Martin's player. It's 1-8 to 1-4. And Rod Guiney doing the marking on Liam Burke. Meanwhile, it's Sean Flood. George O'Connor coming to assist him. Ball spills from his grasp. Out to Kevin Broderick, 45 metres out. Good block down by George O'Connor, but Galway still have it. And here's Cathal Moore, and they have a man over here. Francis Ford, and stopped on the line, but it's belted in. Cathal Moore.
Flicks the ball up, hand passes it out to Colmore, and again into the corner forward. Great save by the goalkeeper, but it was Colmore to finish at the back of the net. Great goal for Galway.
It's gone over. Tom Dempsey's third point. 1 from play, 2 from frees. And Wexford have a 1 point lead. And Galway then have this glorious chance coming up, and this is the reason why, as that ball was sailing in there and the man was certainly pulled down, Joe Rabbit, and once again they have this ploy of bringing in Rabbit, bringing out Cooney to torment the Wexford defence. Joe Cooney is about to take the penalty. Galway behind by 2 points. This to give them the lead once again if he goes for a goal. What will he do? He's gone for it. It's gone off the stick of Colin Kerr. It's saved.
A great stop by Liam Dunn on the line here. Not alone does he stop it, but he controls it, gets it into his hand and makes a great clearance out the field.
Rod Guiney coming out after this one, but it's taken by Michael Coleman instead. Driving towards the Wexford goal. They look for another score here. Very promising. Stopped by Damien Fitzhenry. Didn't quite hit it as hard as he could, I think, Michael Coleman, but it's Rory McCarthy with great pace. He's got support outside through Larry Murphy. Now he needs the assistance of Martin Storey. Can Storey drive it over the bar? The answer is yes. Well, it's been something of the difference between the teams. Wexford, fast, attractive play, taking their chances, and now opening up a 3-point gap. Down towards Liam Burke it comes this time. Again they advance, going right through the half-back line, and this time he wisely taps it over the bar. Liam Burke's very first point of the match, putting 2 between them. Liam Dunn to take the free. 10 minutes to go. Brian Feeney. Really, it's a match you feel at this stage still can go either way. Just 2 points between the teams. Wexford having the lead. Great catch by Larry O'Gorman towards Martin Storey. Out they come for it here, and it's Micheál Donoghue trying to pick it off the ground again. Challenged by Larry Murphy. It's won back by George O'Connor. Adrian Flanagan next in there. Drop hit there by Micheál Donoghue. In towards Ollie Fahy. Jerkosh, the Wexford fullback, to Adrian Flanagan. This time to get much greater distance into it. And there's a problem. And it's a goal! A real problem. Paul Finn was in there to challenge for that. Billy Byrne inside in that full forward position, and Wexford followers feel they're on their way to the All-Ireland final. The Galway defence was badly caught out here.
Yes, we see it again here. High ball from Adrian Fell comes into the square, and what the Wexford forwards hadn't been doing under that was to get in underneath it and get a touch with it, and I'm sure Billy Byrne will take credit for that.
It looks like being Wexford. Galway about to bring on another sub, but Wexford have used up their full quota. Into Billy Byrne, the substitute full forward, back to Tom Dempsey, turning to make a better angle, and he's put it high and over the bar, and that may now be that. Tom Dempsey's 6th point in this match has ensured that Wexford are now on the verge of a place in the final. Ollie Canning in there. Oh, perhaps the miracle will happen yet. There's another goal for Galway. Kevin Broderick making it 2-13 to 3-7, and once again just 3 points in it. Galway within a goal, you know, of denying Wexford. Nigel Shaughnessy just taps it in, but he taps it in badly. And Wexford have it. The whistle has gone, I think. Yes, Wexford have won this All-Ireland semi-final as they play on at the other end. They haven't heard the whistle, but he has now. The fans certainly have. Wexford hold on to win. They win by 3 points. In spite of that loss, Galway come back there. Wexford were not to be denied, and Martin Storey, the team captain, will lead his side in this year's All-Ireland hurling final.
In the other semi-final, Limerick were expected to beat Antrim, and that they did okay, but it was by no means a one-way ticket. This Aidan McCluskey score put Antrim to within a point. Limerick 6, Antrim 5, 20 minutes gone. Then a run of Limerick points, among them ones from Frankie Carroll, Owen O'Neill, and Damien Quigley. And by half-time, 5 points separated them. Limerick 12, Antrim 7. For most of the second half, the scoring was low, but Limerick were leading by 6 points with 25 minutes gone.
It's Frankie Carroll with the sideline cut. Brendan Printer comes out. Ball is loose. The referee has signalled. That is a goal for Limerick.
I think Owen McCluskey comes in behind, catches it. Here he's in. Yeah, his hand went over the line, I would say. I think he definitely stepped over the line with the ball.
That goal put 9 points between them. Antrim stuck to the task all right, but never really could get close enough. And Limerick were through to the All-Ireland final. Final score, Limerick 117, Antrim 13 points. The margin 7.
Now, did you really fancy yourselves?
For the final? Yes, I mean, we had been together, I think it was 186 nights before the All-Ireland final, and that was including matches and practice matches and training sessions. I mean, that's every second day of the year. And we had a great team spirit built up, a great confidence in ourselves, a great belief in ourselves. And I mean, for the last month coming into the match, we could not wait to get into the Crow Park on All-Ireland final day.
Before the All-Ireland, we went down on a Saturday morning. We trained in St Mary's Club in Rosslare, and we went back to the beach. And we had a barbecue that night, and we all stayed together. But during the barbecue, the lads were cracking like, here we are having the barbecue and no bottles of Heineken or Guinness or anything, we're just laughing about it, wouldn't it be great to have the beer there. But the spirit really built up from that, we were sleeping side by side, I think along the army tent covered in blankets, and we got up the next morning at 6 o'clock and everyone was wiping their eyes and wondering what the hell we were doing here, But really I think the commitment there was built from there and it really showed on the day.
What did Liam Griffin say to you?
He got up, I think he must have been up at 5 o'clock and he started screaming and shouting at us to get out of bed, It's comical really to think about it, but it really, when you put yourself on the line for that, that's when it really comes through for you,
Go! That's good, all the way through and all the way through to the end. Go!
Hard training, though, was not exclusive to Wexford. Limerick had a long sequence, too, of tough sessions. They had their own agenda. Although on media night, it was a light workout, when the most asked question was, how are they going to cope with the memory of 1994?
Well, sometimes adversity makes the man, and maybe the defeat of 2 years ago has really made this team unique.
Well, there's a lot of people still asking us about 94, and there's only one way to bury 94, and that's to win an All-Ireland this year.
All year people have been talking about this was Limerick year and they were entitled to win an All-Ireland after the disappointment of 94. I think we were the only ones really that didn't believe in that, We weren't going about to Limerick to let them go on and win it. We really believed ourselves that we could win it.
What about 93, 92, 89, 88, 87, 77? The sum of the total of what we'd missed was about 15 times greater than what Limerick had ever missed. So hunger, we invented the stuff. And I mean, there was no way that Limerick could be possibly hungrier than us. But the thing was, hey, don't tell anybody. The only one who knows that's us.
We went through everything the All-Ireland final day that we had through the whole year, and we had talked about that. And we met in Gorey, a couple of us, where we always met, and I thought it was important for us as well, to keep it that way. Liam Griffin had talked about that, we didn't want any other build-up than we'd had for the whole year, and it really worked in our favour, because he wanted a relaxed approach to the game, and that's the way we took it, and it was great.
The week before the All-Ireland hurling final was one of anxiety for two of Wexford's best and longest-serving players, Sean Flood and George O'Connor. Sean Flood, who'd been having an outstanding season, was suffering from a leg injury and extremely doubtful. But the Wexford management gave the agricultural contractor until near match time before a decision was made. In the event, Flood didn't make it, but dairy farmer George O'Connor did. After nearly 2 decades in the purple and gold, George was to get his big chance on hurling's biggest day.
I said to Sean, right, you know, keep in touch, and it's on Thursday or whatever. If things don't come right, give me a ring. So on Friday he rang me and said, listen, I can't play. My own thoughts was I was shattered for him. And I put the phone down, I have to be honest, and I tried to console him, and I cried myself. Because here was, his father was my folk hero. And his uncle was another one of my folk heroes. His uncle was the Hopper McGrath, one of the greatest hurlers ever to play the game. And his father was Tim Flood, one of the greatest stickmen ever to play the game. And here was this man, Tim's son, getting his chance after so many years in the wilderness to get a chance to play in the All-Ireland. And I can't think of a more fitting player for an All-Ireland than Sean Flood. He's such a class act of a player. So it was sad. But then, this is sports management. All of a sudden you wind up bringing on Georgie O'Connor, Roy of the Rovers, to finish his career, maybe, because I can't retire George O'Connor, to finish his career maybe, on the last day of the last match, to walk up as a Hogan stand and raise the Hogan stand at his last attempt. I mean, you have Cinderella and you have, you know what, Lucifer all at the same time in a sports management situation.
It was heartbreaking for all of us for Shawnee not to be there with us. I mean, because he had hurled brilliantly throughout the year, and he was one of the main reasons that we were actually in an All-Ireland final. And I mean, when the news came out, like, we were all really saddened for him. And the morning then in the hotel when we were having a bit of grub before the match, Sean said a few words at our team meeting, and he actually broke down. And I mean, he gave us all an unbelievable lift going out. I mean, the hair was standing on every player's back of his neck, like just waiting to get out into Croke Park to do it for Shawnee as well as for ourselves.
It's the culmination of the Guinness Hurling Championship of 1996. Between the two teams, they've gone through over 350 training sessions, hours and hours of talks and coaching. And now it came down to the final time. Over the years in Wexford, they've been saying, whenever we beat Kilkenny and Offaly in the same championship year, we will go on to win the Liam McCarthy Cup. Not since 1968 had Wexford won it, not since 73 had Limerick won it.
Here's Larry Murphy, play for Clockbawn. Mike Houlihan's the chaser. Larry is in with a chance for the first score. Excellent point. Lovely strike by Larry Murphy. Gary Kirby, centre half forward. Complaining that George O'Connor is standing too near. Just shows you that Kirby's concentration there was upset. But not upset enough to deprive him of the point. Excellent free by Gary Kirby, and the sides are level after 7.5 minutes. Rod Guiney with help from Liam Dunn. Now George O'Connor. Adrian Fennell. Stephen McDonough. Fraggy Carl. Good pickup, good strike, and great point. An inspiring point from big Fraggy Carl. Great pick, great turn, and one with the accuracy. Henry's puck comes off Dave Clark's stick, I think, no. Off the Wexford stick. And Mike Houlihan to take the sideline cut. One of the genuinely strong men of the modern hurling game. Good cut inside. Guiney can't get to it. Jericush can. Owen O'Neill. Out to Barry Foley. It's over. 19-year-old Barry Foley, the scorer. Mike Houlihan playing a stormer at midfield. Callum Keogh can't get it clear. Here's Barry Foley again. Beautiful. Barry Foley, 19, he looks younger. Another huge puck out from Damien Fitzhenry. Carey can't clear it. Fennell and Wexford. Easy one for Joe Quaid. TJ Ryan breaking away for Limerick. Good run by Ryan. Lost the stick, gives it to Damien Quigley. He's due a big game. This could be one of them. Damien Quigley, a lot of people are looking for a big game from him.
They went ahead. Do you think maybe another score or two for them might have put it beyond reach?
Well, we weren't too worried about it, but yeah, at times we were a bit worried, okay, but not too much, because we said even before the game, like, even if they scored 3 goals in the first 5 minutes, we got to keep going, keep hammering at it, like, and thank God we done that, like, and things went right for us. We turned around and we went up the field and we got a goal in from Tom Dempsey.
Gary Laffin has it. Skips away from Mark Foley. Underhits it. Larry Murphy got it. It's the net. Tom Dempsey. The ball purposely dropped in short. And Tom Dempsey, the old reliable. Tom has been in Wexford teams since 1984. Well held by Fitzhenry, who has a great eye, this goalkeeper. Kieran Carey, here's a point for Limerick if I know Carey. What about that for a score? Kieran Carey, a real inspirational figure. We called it right. The All-Ireland final is dead level. It's Wexford 1-3, it's Limerick 6 points. John O'Connor with a little help from his friends. Liam Dunn. Larry Murphy, Dave Clark. Mike Houlihan battling in there. Mike gets a Kilmallock boot to it. John O'Connor to his brother George. Larry O'Gorman. Martin Story. Martin looks up. Eyes the target, has a go. That's beautiful. A real captain's point and his first of the day. Martin Story to put Wexford back in front. This is the makings of a terrific All-Ireland. Great puck by Joe Quaid. Liam Dunn gets a stick to it again. He's played masterfully at centre-back for Wexford. There's George O'Connor. He played 8 years in the Wexford football team. Larry Murphy, Rod Guiney. Joe Quaid's ball. Got a bit of cover and help from Stephen McDonough. This is Declan Nash. Waiting for TJ Ryan. Only bats it down a little bit. Now, here's Barry Foley. Lovely, neat hurler with a classy style. I know this is the present and he's doing well as his 3rd point of the day, but he really is one for the future.
At what stage of the game did you realise that Barry Foley was obviously the danger man and the chances were that you'd be getting the job?
Well, I was trying to get a message across to Liam to give me a chance to go over on him, like, you know, because I like that kind of task, like, you know, I like to go out and try and mark someone, like, I mean, if someone's causing hassle or problems or whatever, I like to get in there and try and stop him, like, so I was delighted to be asked to go over and do my job to stop him.
He got one off you, I think, did he?
He did, yeah. I think it was Mark Foley came up along the wing and he hand passed the ball on my head, and Barry Foley got it and tapped it over the bar, and when I was running by him then I said, well, enjoy your last point for today.
That's what you said to him.
Eamon Scallon. Martin Story gets it quickly into his hands. Shakes off Carey. Wonderful score. It's point for point, tit for tat. Martin Story, the Wexford captain. He beat Kieran Carey fair and square. Beautifully sprinkled with individual skills this game. And in the team context, a really even battle. Larry Murphy picks it up, football style, on his toe. That's some pickup for you. George O'Connor. Kieran Carey. Larry O'Gorman going on a dribble. And here's Barry Foley again. Quick delivery into Damien Quigley, beaten by Ger Kutch. And more football for Wexford. In centre field, it's Frankie Carroll with the ball in his hand. leaves Guiney behind, plays one into O'Neill. O'Neill gets over the line again, and a game that continues to intrigue with some lovely skills, great stick work, terrific turns by players, and as good a final as you could wish to see. Fitzhenry hits it high in the air and long. Fenlon here for Wexford, dropping it in, looking for Gary Laffin. Mike Nash right on him there, breaks down behind for Laffin again. He's in. It's a terrific save by Quaid. Absolutely sensational save by Joe Quaid. And they're at it again. Eamon Scallon is now having his name taken. And
Yes.
here was a game that was sprinkled with beautiful skill.
He's
And
put him off.
He is going off. Wexford are down to 14 men. An absolutely silly, unnecessary sending off from the Wexford point of view. Now Wexford are down to 14 players. The crowd's ignited, the game's ignited. George O'Connor took it to a heavy knock there. Ball to Frankie Carroll. Up goes the hand of Rod Guiley. The game's got a new impetus. It was good before. Now it's good and ultra competitive. Tom Dempsey coming in along the back line, trying to cut it back. Declan Nash, the defender, with him. Good pick up by Nash. Out to Mark Foley. Up to TJ Ryan. Gary Kirby can't get a grip on it. George O'Connor here, Wexford. Adrian Fenlon. In around the house. Mike Nash can't bring it down. Tom Dempsey. Point by Dempsey in the 35th minute of the half. And that's it. No more in the first half. The teams will go for their cup of tea and their half-time assessment. With a half-time score, the Leinster champions Wexford, 1 goal and 8 points. The Munster champions Limerick, 10 points.
Liam Griffin, your team went into at half-time in the All-Ireland final, a man short. Now, it's difficult enough with 15 v 15.
Yeah.
How were your thoughts at that stage?
I felt in control myself. That was the most important thing, that the management of the team felt in control. But I felt we could win it because we had sat down for 2.5 hours on the previous Thursday and went through every Limerick man and discussed what would happen if he was put off. Then we went through every Wexford man and discussed what would happen if he was put off. And we came up with, after 2.5 hours, with strategies for what might happen in the event of players being put off.
The players were brought into a little room inside, and a few lads set up and said a few words. Like, I was inside getting my toe lanced by the doctor, because my toes swelled up in the balloon. Thanks to Liam Dunn for that. And I missed some of it, but I got back in for the tail end of it, and I knew with the fire in the lads' eyes that we weren't going to give up. We only had 14 men, so we were going to play out with 15.
So nobody in the dressing room was even the slightest bit panicky. So we gave the 2 full forwards a job to cover across the whole full forward line and cover a lot of ground. We were going to try and play the ball wide and let them do a lot of covering. And we felt we could work out how we'd handle the extra man. But it was 35 minutes, we were a point in front. Could we win the All-Ireland? And we felt that if we stayed disciplined, we would.
Joe Quaid, like Fitzhenry in the first half, pucking it very long, very high. Frankie Carroll in possession. Rod Guiney gets in the challenge. Here's George O'Connor. George O'Connor onto Ger Cush. Ger's now playing as a wide man in defence because John O'Connor is in full back on Owen O'Neill. Gary Laffin, third chance of the half. And practice makes perfect. Gary Laffin, the scorer, and he truly deserves a point. He's had 3 chances and he took the third one. Murphy with McDonough. McDonough's clearance only as far as Guiney. Now it's Gary Kirby. Gary Kirby playing the ball into the forwards like. But John O'Connor got there first. Now TJ Ryan puts it across the face of the goal. TJ has scored for Limerick. And that's their first score of the second half with 9 minutes played. Larry Gorman goes all the way in, but that's Kieran Carey onto it. Martin Storey. Dave Clark. Carey again. Clark. Liam Dunn beaten by Gary Kirby. A nice piece of play over there by Keogh. It's going to drop in. Here's the chance for... Oh, Larry Murphy almost in there for Wexford. And they're still not finished. Gary Laffan knocks it over the bar. And Wexford playing like a team that knows exactly what they're capable of and what they intend doing.
This was a tremendous shot from Larry Murphy. Look at that save again very quickly. Ball put out. Laffan got it and put it over the bar. Watch this for instant reaction. Unbelievable the save he made.
What score of the match convinced you that this is our day?
It wasn't actually a score. It was during the second half. Damien Fitzhenry threw his body down in front of a ball that was landed on the edge of the square, and he scooped it out to one side. It just hit me then, really, the commitment that the players were putting in. I felt then that we would go on and win it, you know.
Dave Clark, now he's a shooting chance. Damien Fitzhenry takes it down and is flattened as he does by Damien. Oh, we'll follow the plays. Larry Murphy goes on for Wexford. Larry gives it to Gary Laffan. Oh, it's a great block by McDonough. Kieran Carey tries to football it out. TJ Ryan. Padraig Tobin in there battling for it. Now Barry Foley and Fitzhenry stretches and hooks it away. Oh, he's a spectacular goalkeeper, but he's also a very good one. He's way up there in the Ollie Walsh class. Showman and good as well. Adrian Fenlon, as we look at Mike Nash and Gary Laffan, Adrian Fenlon takes this sideline cut for Wexford. George O'Connor knocks it back to him. Nice layoff into Larry O'Gorman. Larry goes for it. Larry's got it. Larry's got it. That's a great score for Wexford. This Wexford crowd is really lifting the team. Now, can Gary Kirby inspire Limerick, as so often in the past he's been able to do? And again, it's wide, and this is just squandermania really for Limerick.
Kirby hasn't really got into the game, and they rely so much on him up front, and he hasn't been able to get into the game. Dunn's done a great job on him.
Watch him the whole time, really. That was the instructions I had. If Gary Kirby, if I didn't hit a ball and Gary Kirby didn't score, that was my job. And like, in fairness to the rest of the backs in the centre field, I mean, they didn't give away frees, and if they had given away frees, there could have been 10 points after Gary Kirby's name, and he was reduced to 2. We gave no free away in the second half, and I mean, that's the win of the All-Ireland, and for us that was really.
They've got 4 minutes of normal time to play. Liam Dunn and Gary Kirby in the challenge. It's a Limerick ball.
You think Limerick have only scored 2 points in this half? The chances have had.
Here's Dave Clark. And that's over the bar, which ends the long barren run without a score. 16 minutes until 32 minutes. 16 minutes without a score.
I'm putting it to you, that was one of the greatest ever defensive performances seen in Croke Park. 14 men versus 15 against the wind in an All-Ireland final with a team that hadn't won since '68. And in the middle of that game, Our backs didn't concede one single free in the second half. That's a record. And you're the man for records.
And that's discipline.
And that's discipline.
Fitzhenry was too greedy, really. Didn't get the length in it. He wanted a point. Dempsey has it in his hands. Billy Byrne chases it and Stephen McDonough has it. Where can he go, though? Wexford have hunted in packs. They played magnificently with a man short. Here's Kieran Carey. Big hit on Carey by Rory McCarthy and a free to Limerick. It's been a magnificent game.
He'll have to drop this ball into the square. I don't think he has time to go for points. Drives it hard and low.
And it's taken by Jack Cush. And Wexford, Larry Gorman has the ball. And Wexford are the All-Ireland champions.
Where were you going at the end of the game?
Over onto the hill to jump up on the railing to say hello and thank you very much to all the supporters, but especially my family who are standing behind the railing.
You knew exactly where they were?
I told them that I want them there after the game, that I'd be there.
With the ball?
With the ball. Well, without the ball or not, but with my hands in the air.
A team that has waited in the hurling wilderness since 1968. Lost a man in the first half. Had to play with 14. Had to start the match without Sean Flood, replaced by this agile veteran George O'Connor. But in the end, a magnificent Wexford fighting display.
When the referee blew the final whistle, that's when I realised we won it. And I seen Larry O'Gorman nearly going over into the hill 16 with the hurling ball in his hand, and